Hi, Jim. I know you had initially a few days ago said that you didn't expect to do a whole lot at the deadline here. What changed in the last couple of days, and what are your thoughts on what you were able to do today?
Well, yeah, we had talked to our players. I talked to our guys. We weren't planning on doing a whole lot. We had some players with no move contracts. Another player that just felt that at this particular time, with everything that we've gone through, that it wasn't, for him, it just wasn't the right time to get started with another team. With Adam Gaudette, we just felt it was time for a change of scenery for him. Bringing in Matthew Highmore, we really like him as we seen him in the bubble. He's a guy that plays with a lot of energy, a lot of passion for the game. So we're excited. We kind of had our eye on him ever since he was a free agent, junior free agent. He signed with Chicago. So we like, the intangibles that he brings. He's fast. He gives us some speed. Bringing in Madison Bowie he's a big, strong kid. He's got all the physical tools, to be a real good player. He's a good skater. So we just felt like he gives us some size and strength on the back end. And, with Jordy, we weren't going to re-sign him. So we're giving him a chance to go play on a good team. And, they have a chance to make a run in the playoffs. And so he's got an opportunity to keep, his career moving forward. So that's what we ended up doing. So I'm happy with what we got done today.
Okay, we have a few hands here, so we'll ask that you please limit your questions to one each. We'll go next to Jay Janauer.
Jim, can you give us an update as to just the overall health on the team? I'm curious how quick it takes an NHLer to get out of shape. I know you had guys skating today. Can you tell us how many guys were skating, what the overall health of the team is like, and also how's Travis Green's health doing?
Okay, so we had 10 guys that skated today. Our facility, got closed down yesterday. We had one more positive test as you guys know. We had 10 guys on the ice today. I've been talking to different players. Some guys feel really good and they're ready to go. Other guys are still feeling some residual effects of the COVID. So, but the next step for them is to start working out, getting on the ice, getting back in shape to play again. And, we'll just deal with if they have any effects through, this week skating and stuff with the COVID, we'll deal with them. But hopefully, when we play Friday night, we got our full team back in play. As far as Travis is feeling better every day. I haven't talked to him yet today, so hopefully he's ready to go too when we get back going.
Next up is Ben Kuzma.
Jim, Gaudette scored a dozen goals last year, and you guys gave him a one-year extension just to kind of see where his progression was going to be at. We know he moved from the middle to the wing. What was missing in his game, Jim, from your perspective in terms of making a decision on a player at age 24 who's kind of at the career crossroads at that age in terms of an organization making a decision on him?
Well, I think it was a lot of different things went into the decision. At times he felt like he, wanted to play higher in the lineup than he was. And, we felt like, when we talked to him, it was about his two-way game and keep improving upon that. So, I think it was the right time for him to get a fresh start. I talked to him. He thanked us for, us drafting him, his development time with us, and giving him an opportunity to be an NHL player. But I think it was just the right time for both parties to move on.
Next is Ian McIntyre.
Hi, Jim. Are both Highmore and Bowie going to be coming to Vancouver, and how much might you need fresh, healthy bodies here in the next couple of weeks?
Yeah, they're both on their way. I think Matthew Highmore, he got on a flight. They were in Chicago, was in Columbus today, so I think he got on a flight at 2:30. I just talked to Madison, and we're going to have to figure out how to get him out tomorrow and get him in here. They'll have to quarantine for a week, and then they'll be available for us to get in the lineup and play. As you see in our schedule, it's we got a tough schedule coming up here. As once we get started playing, we I think out of every 5 days we play 4 games from almost now to the rest of the year. So the good thing about it, the way I see it, is the next couple of weeks we're still at home. So hopefully our guys get feeling better, their families get feeling better, and then once we get out on the road, they have that peace of mind where their families are doing well and they can concentrate on the hockey when we're on the road. So it's not going to be easy, but in this season, with all the things you have to deal with COVID and stuff, it is what it is.
We'll go now to Patrick Johnston.
Jim, perhaps a pickup of a different sort. Vasily Podkolzin's team was eliminated earlier today. Wondering if there's any chance of him perhaps signing and playing a few games before the season. I know it's a tight timeline, but just wondering if there's any chance of that.
Yeah, so we're gonna. That's the next order of business. He's under contract till April 30th with his team, and then if he's going to be on the World Championship team, then for Russia, then we won't get him till the end of May. So the season obviously will be over. So we're going to look into that here. That's our next order of business, and just see where that goes.
Next is Gemma Karsten-Smith.
Hi, Jim. Just wondering if you can tell us what trade deadline was like this year compared to previous years.
Yeah, well, it was, it seemed like, a lot of the top teams this year, that think they have a chance to win their divisions were adding players. I think in past years, what we've seen is teams that were fighting for playoff spots would try to add to for that push to make the playoffs. I don't necessarily know that we've seen that this year. So I think it was a buyer's market, and I think there was a lot of other things that got done along the way, for next year and the year after. But I think for the most part, it was a buyer's market today.
Next up is Farhan Lalji.
Jim, as far as Bowie's acquisition goes, how much of it was the fact that he is under contract for next year and kind of meets the requirement as far as being able to protect players for the Seattle expansion draft, might give you some more flexibility on a guy like Myers and things like that? How much did that play into his acquisition?
Yeah, well, I think, that was part of it, but we liked him as a prospect, and he's played in the league. We like him as a player. We got some UFA defensemen that, on the back end that may or may not resign with us. So I think it gives us protection going forward. We get a guy that is mobile, that, he's, can kill penalties for us. He can, he's a good enough skater where he can play in today's game and be an effective player. I think last year he had a pretty good season in Detroit. So it gives us, some flexibility here going forward as to, what we want to do with, and what the team looks like for next year.
Next up is Jim Morris.
Hi, Jim. Thank you for taking the time to do this. You touched on this a little earlier. Your team was in tough for a playoff spot before this all happened. Now, looking at the schedule in front of you, how tough is this next month going to be for your team to try to get that playoff spot?
Well, that's, Jim, that's why we play the game. So we'll, I think the first and foremost, it's about, getting healthy, getting back on the ice, getting back in game shape. And, once we start playing games, like it's going to be, like we play, a lot of games in a short period of time. So my hope is that physically the guys feel well from, coming off COVID, and, we can compete. I think we're going to get, I know you guys just talked to Pierce, and hopefully we're going to get some injured guys back. So that should help out. And, I'm hoping that, we can win our share of games here. And so we can make it competitive going down the stretch. So that's the way we kind of see things. And, from there, we'll just see how it goes. But, at some point we might get some younger guys in the lineup. And I know Ole Ulevi, by moving Ben out now, he's going to get a good chance to play the rest of the year. So we're excited about that.
Go now to Karen Larson. Karen, do we have you there? Okay, we'll go next to Daniel Wagner.
Jim, looking at Adam Gaudette this season, it seemed like he really wasn't getting a lot of puck luck. He had the lowest shooting percentage of his career, really low on-ice shooting percentage. Was there any concern that perhaps you were selling low on a young player that maybe is about to bounce back if those percentages go back up?
Well, I think, he's a 24-year-old player this year. To be quite honest, we expected him to take another step this year. He's played all right for us, but we were expecting, after the season he had last year, we're expecting him to come in and take another step. And we didn't really feel like he did that. Now, maybe a change of scenery, he can, get that back. He's a guy that we drafted. We spent a lot of time with him in development. We gave him a chance. He scored some big goals for us. The thing, I think that we may miss from him is he's got a good release on his shot and he can score from the outside. But I think overall, looking at, his two-way game and stuff, we just felt like, Matthew Highmore plays a more complete two-way game. And, he's a guy that gives us speed. And, I think given an opportunity, he can score too. So, I think it's a good deal for both teams. Both players get a fresh start and we'll just see where it goes.
Okay, we have time for two more here. We'll go to Thomas Drance.
Jim, you pick up an additional 2021 pick and also trade down with Chicago. How does the uncertainty around this draft class, with how few games some of the amateur players being drafted this year have played relative to what you'd normally see, how does that impact how you sort of value those picks?
Well, I value picks in every round, like coming from an amateur scouting side, like, when I was running drafts, like a 5th round pick, I'd be excited about. And so, I think every pick, the amateur scouts think that, they're going to be able to add a player that, can help the organization moving forward or play in the NHL. So, but we added an extra pick. We got 8 picks in this year's draft. Going through the draft, I don't necessarily know that it's a real deep draft this year, but there's certain players that, we like in each of the rounds where I feel like we can still draft well and get good players that could turn out to be NHL players. So I think, I'm excited about getting that extra pick for our group. And so it's just something that we're not going to have the viewings like we had in past years. We're going to, rely a little bit more on maybe some analytics work this year and, the video work all of our guys have done. But I still feel like in those rounds, we can find players that can play in the league.
And we'll take our final question here from Brendan Batchelor.
Hey, Jim, you talked about potentially getting some guys back from injury. Do you have an update on Elias Pettersson's status here?
No, we don't have an update yet. He's back skating. He's supposed to meet with the specialist tomorrow and or Wednesday. He's and we'll get a better report as to when he's going to be back playing. But I know he's skating and working out and stuff. So I'm hoping that he's able to play here by the end of the week. But I guess that we'll have a better idea once he meets with the specialist on Wednesday.